Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a zombie horror film, Demons, Part 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a narration that tells us about some horrifying events from the past, where a group of demons had terrorized a theater full of innocent people. Now a knife is seen dripping a blood-like substance, but it's presumed to be jam as a mysterious baker enters his pantry and wipes the substance off the knife. The baker proceeds to prepare a birthday cake for a girl named Sally. Later in the night, a woman named Night Lady goes to visit her client in an apartment. As she waits for the lift, she runs into a charming man named George. However, they have to wait for the lift to arrive because a bunch of troublemakers are messing with its system. Eventually, the building's guard opens the lift and shoots the troublemakers away. Now we see George's pregnant wife named Wifey, who is practicing some yoga so that she can prepare for the birth of her baby. George enters the house and meets his annoying wife while mentioning Sally's birthday party next door. Meanwhile, a hunky bodybuilder trains his students in the building's gym filled with muscularity, hoping to build their bulletproof muscles. Sally's party kicks off, and all her friends are having a good time with each other. But Sally doesn't seem to like any of the dresses she's wearing for her party. Sally's blonde friend named Blondie tries to console her, but then Sally gets distracted by the TV, which is playing a movie inspired by the events of the demon attack on the theater. Sally takes an interest in this movie, while Night Lady is selling her cheap hormones to her client downstairs. Several residents of the building, who are super fans of Daniel CC Movie Channel, seem to have an interest in the demon movie, so they decide to watch it in their respective homes. The movie shows a group of friends trying to enter an abandoned building so that they can find the remains of a demon. Back in the real world, a little boy is also shown to be watching this movie, and then he receives a phone call from a mysterious person. The person asks the boy if his parents are at home, but he says he's alone. Now George starts studying for an upcoming physics exam, but cannot focus on it, with Wifey's hormones filling the air. He tries to play a hormone yoga with her, but she tells him to calm his muscles down and focus on the upcoming exam instead. Meanwhile, Sally starts socializing with her friends, while the other residents continue to watch the demon movie. The movie shows its characters finding a weird claw hidden in the ground, and they believe that it might just be a demon's nail. In the middle of the movie, one of Sally's friends gets a call from Sally's ex-boyfriend and mistakenly invites him to the party. This is not good news for Sally, who gets upset because her ex-boyfriend is a bully. Sally doesn't want the bully to set foot in her house, so the rest of the gang tells her friend to go outside and handle him whenever he reaches the building. While watching the demon movie, a lonely woman hears something suspicious. She goes to her door to inspect the noise and is given a brief scare when her cute dog pops up. The lonely woman lets her dog inside, and then we're back to the movie. One of the characters accidentally cuts herself when she gets scratched by an unknown object. However, her group doesn't think much of it and moves on when they hear some odd sounds. The group follows these sounds to an alley filled with broken down cars. One of the characters plays the radio from inside a car, but the scratched girl briefly spots her demon face in the mirror. Suddenly, the group comes across a demon corpse and is glad to have finally found proof of such a monster. The group of characters poses with the demon's body, but the scratched woman's wound starts to bleed, and her blood falls into the corpse. Even in the real world, Sally's friends are taking a picture, and the situation is almost identical to what is being shown in the movie. Now, Sally gets locked inside her room so that her friends can prepare a birthday cake for her. She decides to entertain herself by watching the demon movie. At this stage, the demon's corpse awakens from the blood dripping down on it. The group is shocked to see the corpse coming back to life, and then the demon viciously attacks all of them. Sally seems to be rooting for the demon as she cheers for him when he kills one of the female characters. She watches on with interest as the demon goes looking for the other group members. However, things take a turn for the worst when the demon seemingly notices Sally on the other side of the TV. The demon tries to push its demonic muscles out of the TV screen, and it actually seems to be working, causing Sally to panic. She tries to get out of her room, but can't get open the door because her friends have locked her inside. Suddenly, the TV screen changes to static, so Sally believes that this must have been an illusion of some sort. However, she is immediately attacked by the same demon when she turns around. Sally's friends try to bring her out of her room to cut the birthday cake, but she doesn't respond at first. Sally eventually comes out and blows out her candles, but immediately transforms into a demon after doing so. Demon Sally now attacks everyone in the house, while her parents are enjoying a meal with each other outside the building, completely unaware that they have lost their daughter. George and his wife listen to the music coming from Sally's room, and they think that the party is getting wild. Wifey decides to go to Sally's apartment so that she can wish her a happy birthday. However, nobody answers the door because they are all turning into demons inside the apartment. During their transformation, the demons secrete acid and diabetic blood that seeps through the floor of the apartment. The client finishes his smelly business with Night Lady and promises to call her again, but then he notices the acid blood falling from his ceiling. The demons get out of Sally's apartment, while the acid blood starts to damage all the electrical lines of the building. A woman is getting a tan in the building's salon, but she is quickly fried to death once the demons reach the salon. George heads out of his apartment and bumps into Night Lady in the lift once again. However, the lights go off and they get stuck inside. Meanwhile, Sally's ex-boyfriend and his gang of bullies drive through town. The ex-boyfriend is shown to be a rash driver, but he doesn't care because he wants to reach Sally's birthday on time. Back to the lift, the Night Lady starts to panic because she doesn't like closed spaces, so George tries his best to calm her sexy body down. The acid blood starts dripping from the lonely woman's ceiling, and her dog notices it. The blood triggers the dog, and it starts to bark at the puddle being formed in front of it. At the gym, everyone decides to leave because there's no electricity, but the bodybuilder decides to let some of his students stay back so that they can continue their workouts. The building guard tries to call for help, but the phone lines get burnt by the acid blood before he can make contact with the right person. Things get even worse when the pet dog licks the blood puddle and starts to act aggressively. The lonely woman spots the dog and panics as she sees it transforming into a demon. The demon dog attacks the lonely woman, so she tries to make a run for it. Unfortunately, this is of no use, and she is eventually ripped to shreds in a painful sequence. Now the demon army starts attacking everyone in the building, and it leads to a lot of chaos. In the middle of this, George and the Night Lady try to get out of the elevator, but the doors are barely movable. Suddenly, they spot the demons attacking the residents of the building, and this makes George worry about his wife, who is all alone in their apartment. The demon army moves forward into the gym and starts attacking the students, who had stayed back for their workouts. The students fight back with some dumbbells, and then Bodybuilder also shows up with his gym team to fight the demons. The muscle men and women aren't able to stop the demons with their bare muscles, so Bodybuilder decides to lead the gym team to the exit door. However, the door is locked, and the gym team isn't able to break through it. Panic sets in, but Bodybuilder refuses to give up and redirects everyone to the garage exit. The gym team acts quickly and moves to the garage, but they aren't able to break out of this exit either. The gym team locks the demon army outside for now, but the door won't hold for long, so they try to get through the garage door. Unfortunately, even driving a car into the door isn't enough to break it open. Meanwhile, the little boy hides in his room, but steps out once he hears some noises, thinking that it might be his parents. However, the sounds are actually coming from the demon army that is climbing up the stairs. Realizing his mistake, the boy quickly runs into Sally's room and looks for a hiding space. But then, he hears some more noises, so he escapes from the room. These noises are from Blondie and her boyfriend, both of whom have somehow managed to survive the demon infections. The boy's mother calls the house, hoping to talk to her son, but the ringing sound only ends up attracting Demon Sally towards the boy. Luckily, he thinks fast and manages to evade her by hiding in the closet. Unfortunately, some of the acid blood also drips onto the boy's body. Now the building guard tries to help George and the Night Lady, but he gets killed by Sally right in front of them. The demon army reaches the gym team inside the garage, causing an intense battle to break out. The gym team tries to fight the demons with fire, and then they use guns and axes to kill them. They manage to get rid of the first wave of demons, and then some more survivors enter the garage. Sensing an opportunity, Bodybuilder gathers all the humans together and asks them to work together if they want to survive the demon onslaught. Back at the lift, the building guard also turns into a demon and attacks the Night Lady by pulling on her hair. However, he leaves her alone as he doesn't want to taste her cheap hormones. Now Sally's ex-boyfriend and his bully gang get into an accident when he loses control of his car. Sally's friend witnesses this accident and goes to help the gang immediately. Meanwhile, the little boy reaches George's apartment and begs wifey to let him inside. However, when she opens the door, she notices that the boy has transformed into a baby demon. Wifey tries her best to evade the annoying demon boy, but he eventually breaks into her home. Things get even worse when a monster rips itself out of the boy's body. In fear, wifey locks herself inside the bathroom, and then the monster tries to break it down. Meanwhile, one of the survivors in the garage realizes that she has been bitten, and she turns into a demon in front of her own daughter. With no other choice, Bodybuilder has to kill the mother with his shotgun. Back to wifey, the monster breaks into the bathroom, so wifey runs away from it. Luckily, she thinks fast and manages to trick the monster into a secret chute behind her wall. George is finally able to get out of the lift and he climbs up the wires. However, the Night Lady is shown to have been infected by the demon guard as she transforms and attacks George. After a brief struggle, George manages to kick her down and makes his way to the top. Suddenly, the lift starts to rise, so George moves fast and makes it back into the building after killing Demon Night Lady, ending her cheap life. Wifey tries pouring some acid on the monster, and it seems to work at first. However, the monster breaks free from the chute and attacks Wifey. Luckily, George enters the apartment at the right time, and he saves Wifey from the monster by shoving an umbrella through its head. The bodybuilder and his gym team take on the demon army in an extremely fierce battle to the death. It is a brutal encounter, but the humans start to lose their ground because even the bodybuilder is grabbed in his smelly part and eaten by the demons. It doesn't take long for the demons to overpower the gym team, and they start killing everyone in sight. The daughter manages to survive the attack, but she also has to witness her father getting killed by the demons. George plans an escape for himself and Wifey, so he goes downstairs to leak some gas. Wifey walks into Sally's room because she is craving some cake due to her pregnancy. George releases the gas and lights it up to kill the entire demon army, but then he hears his wife screaming. He rushes to the scene, but learns that his wife had just bumped into Blondie and her boyfriend. The four of them try to make it out of the building, but the boyfriend is shown to be infected as he transforms and attacks the team. George kills him without mercy, and then he takes Wifey and Blondie to the roof of the building. However, even Blondie transforms and attacks them, so George throws her blonde body off the roof. After that, George and his wife go down the building, but Demon Sally also shows up as she had survived the gas attack. George stabbed her with a rod, so the coast is clear, but Wifey is feeling a lot of pain because she is about to give birth. George and Wifey find their way inside a TV production studio equipped with flashing lights, and that's when Wifey starts her contractions. She eventually gives birth to a baby boy and rejoices with George. But then, Demon Sally enters the room. It turns out she is unable to see, so she eventually dies. The TVs are about to bring Demon Sally back to life, but George smashes all the screens to prevent the same mistake from happening again. The movie ends with George and his wife getting out of the building with their baby boy, and they share some juicy tongue action. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.